Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. And we're going to continue with answering questions from the jar. I'm going to find my jar of many questions. I know it's here somewhere. And I'm going to reach in and grab a question. And once again, this is a reminder and a disclaimer, I guess, that these videos are not intended to be perfect. I by no means am a spiritual teacher, spiritual anything really, just a learner and someone who wants to understand the true meaning of what this living experience is supposed to be all about. So I also am a person who believes that teaching and learning are two sides of the same coin. So as I learn, I teach. And when I teach, I learn. So that's my being here now, doing this little exercise. So again, I'm not perfect, and these will not be perfect. I will take a question out and answer it. Profound question. I'm going to just set my timer. Take a deep breath. I need it for this one. How do people get into heaven after they leave this life? How do people get into heaven after they leave this life? Wow. What I'm about to say is going to turn on my own indoctrinated understanding of things upside down. My own spiritual teachings or religious teachings upside down. What many people in the Northwestern or North American culture who ascribe to the JudeoChristian understanding of things may have a hard time with my answer, but I see it differently than I've seen it, say, when I was still in catechism. What was the question again? How do people get into heaven after they leave this life? Ooh. We have to look at heaven and what heaven is, and heaven is a proverbial place, a place where an idea of a place where most of us will ascribe to as being reality. We will see it as a place, a finish line, the grand finish line for all our experiences here, where we'll go after we've lived the perfect life and done exactly what God, this paternal, human-like figure that we created in our minds, after he judges us to be worthy of such a place. So we spend our lifetimes from the time we're born, the first breath, to the time we take our last breath, that dash between on the epitaph between the date of birth and the date of death, trying to meet that expectation so that when time comes to be judged, we can get to heaven rather than the alternative, which is hell, supposedly, in this understanding things where we'll burn in a fiery depth of pain and suffering for not living the life we were told we should live. So that's what we ascribe to. And I spent my life ascribing to that, and I had great fear of both God, the King of Heaven, and the other God, the King of Hell. I had spent my life in fear of both of these. I think probably more fearful of God and his decision that I was not worthy enough to go on to this heaven, to this place we go to after we leave this life. I do believe now a lot differently than I believed then. And I believe heaven, like I said, is just a proverbial ideation of a place. And what happens after we leave this life, meaning this existence in this physical form, this incarnation, this body, this experience of a personality that has collected all these worldly things from the time that they were born and the time that they died. When we leave that behind, we all go to heaven, if you want to use that word. And again, heaven's just a word. We all go on. I believe we all go on to a higher level of existence, to a beautiful place. If you want to use the word place, it's in the form of a destination. We go on to a beautiful experience, another way of being, deeper and more purely that which we already are, which is love. So how do we get there? We get there by simply living. we are not really getting to heaven. We are going back to that which we came from. We're going back to the source of who we are, not just where we are. We are in these physical bodies for such a limited time, a blink of an eye in eternity time span. If you want to use time again, which is probably non-existent in this place we call heaven. So we are here for a blink of an eye to experience this living as a human being, on this school we call Earth, this playground we call Earth. And the source, that from which we came, has the opportunity to experience this life through us and 8.3 billion other human beings, not to mention all the other beings on the planet. It gets to experience its own creation through this one human I call me for a brief blink of an eye in human existence or eternal existence. Maybe 90 years in humanity, but a blink of an eye in eternity. And it gets to experience that slither of life I've been given to live. And when that vessel, that spacesuit it's in that allows it to tramp around on the earth and do what it does and experience with the 5 senses that are attached to the spacesuit, when that spacesuit no longer functions and is no longer able to carry this slither of consciousness onward, then consciousness just goes back to itself, right? Goes back to the source, becomes one with what it is again. And this body, this personality that I am so identified with now as a human being, is nothing but a memory that maybe this slither of consciousness takes with it back to where it came from. But it is not. This personality doesn't go on into a proverbial place, because it was rewarded such for being such a good human being. This consciousness, I believe, just wants to experience life in all its myriad of ways, the good, the bad, the ugly. And the experiences we have as humans are good, bad, and ugly. The personalities we adapt and identify with are good, bad, and ugly. The bodies we're living in could be good, bad, or ugly. The actions we take on could be good, bad, or ugly. The words we use could be good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter. All of it is just an experience that consciousness is having. So when this body, like old wrinkled clothes we wore all day, are taken off, and we lay ourselves down to sleep, the proverbial sleep, then we're all going back to that place that's, if you want to call it a place, you can. We're using dual terms. When it's really a non-dual existence that we're going back to. We go back to that and we become all that we were meant to be. We become ourselves again. Selves with a capital S this time. So heaven is not meant for just a few. And it is not our job as humans to judge for God as to who goes to heaven and who doesn't, because heaven it's not what we think it is. And good, bad, and whatever is not what we think it is. This experience of living is not what we think it is. Not what we're brought up and conditioned to believe through our dogma and doctrine and conditioning. Being human is an opportunity for Source to experience itself through one little vessel, this body I identify with, this personality I call me. And it will not last forever, like nothing on this planet will. Everything's temporary. The only thing we take with us are our actions and our thoughts and our words and the energy that we put out there. So focus on that. If you're thinking about getting into heaven, focus on what you're putting out right now in this moment. Are you loving and giving and serving? Are you taking and wasting this precious bit of time you have here? regardless if you are or not, you'll still get to this proverbial heaven, this return to source. But would it be really nice to go back to source and say, hey, this is what I give you. This is a gift I give you after my experience here. I've touched a lot of lives in a positive way. I love deeply. I lived greatly. And I served life rather than asking life to serve me. Well, that's what I have to say about that. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.